He's a man of many hats, a former professional boxer, a business owner, a best-selling author, a philanthropist, and 2019 National Boxing Hall of Fame inductee. Here's your host for Shining the Light, Alan Santana.
Hey everybody, this is Alan Santana from Shining the Light. Today, I'm so excited to have a friend of mine on, WWE former champion, Hall of Fame inductee, the great Rikishi. Rikishi, thanks for coming on. And I'm going to open up the floor to you, my friend. Go ahead.
Hey, Alan, thank you so much, man. I'm very proud and honored to be here, especially to be able to talk to the kids of the future. The men of the future here is so important that we, hopefully, my life experience of what I went through, that's able to touch these kids' hearts and to be able to give them some type of shining light that they too as well can be successful and to be able to live their dream as long as they put in the work. Okay, are you guys hearing me well?
I can hear you.
I kind of heard you kind of in and out.
I can hear you just fine.
Just fine?
Yes. You look beautiful this morning, man.
Oh, man, I had to hurry up and get up, man. My wife set the alarm, and this is what wrestlers do after whenever we get a chance to rest, man. We just rest. So I'm really enjoying this quarantine. You know what I mean? It makes me reflect on my family like a lot of time.
Nice.
I'm sure this is happening to everyone. Right. And, we're so busy on the run of the day of lives and so forth, and the hustle and bustle of what the world has to throw to us, that you tend to forget what's really important. Like when we come home, I'm guilty for this. When I come home, it's like, I'm so tired. It's like you hug your family, you say hello, you eat, but you're not really there. You're just so tired. You just want to, I may grab a beer, get a drink, and, take a hot shower and go to bed to get ready for the next tackling of life the following day. So this quarantine was, kind of really, I'm sad what's going on with the world and everything is being put on hold with people's lives and affected. But for me, it's just really taught me a lesson to really reflect on my life of what's important, and that's family. And so to kind of go back, to start off the beginning of this, is that, I've at the moment, I'm kind of utilizing Rikishi's platform throughout this long 31-year career, man. I started I started training when I was 17. I turned pro when I was 20 with my uncles off in Seco. So, and then I had kids and, got married and I always tell my kids, like, people that I know my kids, but I don't know my kids. I don't even know what it means to be a teenager. Wow. Because at 20, well, this in the sports entertainment business, Alan, when you're on the roster, when you're traveling and you're gone, it's like on the day training, man. And I was blessed to have my family around me, guys like, my Uncle Alpha and Seeker the Wild Samoans, Uncle Rocky, God bless his soul, passed away, Uncle Jimmy Snuka, all those, that was like, I like to call that was like my cement wall around this young kid in the industry. And who better to teach you than your own family members? Right. And all I did as a kid, I'm guilty for this, man. As a young kid, when you're 20 and you're traveling all around the world, you're there, but you're just so excited. Like you just look, wow, I'm over here in England. Wow, I'm in New York City. You never even planned this, man. And sometimes God throws a bone your way to kind of see which direction are you going to go. Are you going to take this, or this is whatever direction you're going to go? Because there's a good way and there's a bad way, meaning choices. Like, we know what happens when you make that wrong decision. Well, there's consequences. But for me, I was blessed to given that opportunity to be around, a business that I was a fan of because my uncles were in it, but I never really thought I was going to be in it. And when the blessings came, all of a sudden I kind of grew overnight from being a kid to a man. You know what I mean? And all this young man did was just, I paid my dues. I kept working like I was a professional wrestler, but I was also like a bag boy. I was a bag man. I used to go in the locker room, make sure all the OGs have their chairs. So I was like double, overtime, man. But, the blessing is that it is when you kids are around, those that know the business that you decide to get into. A lot of kids, I probably would have laughed at them, or my friends would have probably laughed at them. But I took the time as I got to know these wrestlers who became family members to me, all of them. I got to learn the lesson of listening and, taking advice. Some advice are good advice. Some advice are, the ones that are bad advice. So,
right.
But you always have the luxury of choices. Meaning it's really your choice. Nobody puts a gun through your head to say you're going to do that or you're going to do this. And so, again, I was blessed to be around this very tight group of superstars back in the day, which really helped me grow into who I am today, not only in the business part, but also my family. And that was the core for me. Was my family my real close-knit circle, meaning your father, your mother, your wife, your sister, your brother, your kids, and so forth.
Right.
And it just really helped me survive this, crazy lifestyle of professional wrestling, who we now know is just a huge, like probably the biggest sports entertainment, surpassed Super Bowl, the NBA, who'd ever thought that professional wrestling that would be this so gigantic and it touches so many people's lives, on the screen TV.
I think you're very fortunate. You touched on a couple of topics, a couple of things in your conversation here. You talk about family, how close and important family is to you. That's just one thing is very key, family. You talked about being young and all of a sudden you're thrown into the limelight at 20 years old. How do you handle that? That you have to adapt. Like you said, you paid your dues.
Yeah.
Paid your dues for many years. This doesn't come overnight. I have, like I said, Brandon and Cody on from San Antonio, Texas. They're big fans of yours. I want them to ask a couple of questions. And then we're going to go into talking about bullying. I don't know. I look at you and I think you're the perfect guy to have on the show because you're a professional wrestler. You've been there. Want to go into, talk about bullying. When you were in school, think back to when you were in elementary school. Did you bully anybody? Were you bullied? Do you remember people being bullied? And if you do, how did you handle that? What did you think back then?
Well, I guess for me was, it was very hard for me to walk away. I'm going to be honest. I'm Samoan, man. Samoans, we don't back down from nobody. You know what I mean? And I come from a family of faith and Christian. And right. So when you have a grandfather in your house and a mother in your house that prays 24/7, you kind of want to follow those type of rules. And in school, I've seen bullying, and my thing was to always kind of stay clear from all that. You can tell those that has some type of sense of brain to where, I would pick and choose whether to jump into, kind of try to, de-escalate, the situation that's going on and so forth. But, for the most part, it was kind of, hey, you see something, say something.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't solve a problem violence with violence, and it's always, that's why we have what is called a mouthpiece. Some people, you went and told them, hey, for me, speaking up might have saved that kid's life. Or maybe, it could have escalated to something a lot worse. So, I was never bullied. And I was never a bully, man.
I don't think anybody would want to bully you. I'm sure you were pretty big when you were in elementary school. You're a big boy. So,
no, believe it or not, man, I just posted up a picture on my Facebook. I'm 19 years old. You can see I'm probably like, I don't know, maybe 210 pounds.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
No one would want to bully a 210-pound person.
Just like, how do you think it starts, like bullying in a way of in the sense of the signs, in the sense of like where does it come from?
Oh
Like
man, you can see it all around you. I mean, it all starts from an eye contact. It starts with an eye contact, then it comes with movement. If I see you looking at me, you're far away, and as you're far away, and then next you know that body turns and it's kind of walking toward this way. I mean, it's just domino effects, son. You got to look out for things that are around you, and also listen. You know what I mean? It's always like, again, I, I teach my kids to protect themselves, not to be a bully, but to be able to exactly what it is, protect himself. Because a bully, you cannot control people like this. They just choose to be that. And for my job and for your job, it's just to you got to protect yourself. There's few ways to protect yourself. Walk away, don't pay attention, or if he just happened to catch you off guard, then it's called self-defense. And I'm not saying violence or violence. I'm just saying you're in the right to protect yourself. Because I don't know what this bully is coming to my kids. He might be coming with him to a knife. He might be, for all I know, he's probably got the coronavirus on him. You know what I'm saying? And so there's so many different ways, son. It's just, I'm very good at listening to people and utilizing my eyes. I can read people's body motions. I can read them, when they start to speak out, there's a certain way where you can hear people that are violent, but then you can hear people that are sincere and honest and good people, but always be aware of your surroundings.
Of course.
Definitely. Cody, we got Cody on from San Antonio. Cody, you got a great name, Cody Lynch. I love the name. I want you to go ahead and meet Rikishi, ask him whatever you want to ask him. Now's the time, my friend. Go ahead.
So I guess my main question would be so if you see somebody getting bullied and stuff, and after after the altercation is over with, and you see them, how do you go over there and comfort them about the situation? How do you help them kind of get over that situation?
Oh, son, it's a simple thing, gesture of love, just to walk up. You know what I mean? Walk up. I mean, if you're the first person on the scene right there, of course you're gonna probably be scared of, just what just happened to them. And it's just, just show you, just have your presence, just to let them know. Again, you get to speak up and say, I'm here to help you. You know what I mean? And communication is a very important thing because, when you've been banged up, God forbid, whatever just happened, keep in mind, I kind of put myself in their shoes. If I got jumped by people and, they left me there, my heart is still, and my mind is still racing 100 miles per hour. I am scared to death. And so when you're laying there, you don't know if you've been stabbed, you don't know and your heart is running, your mind is running, you're full of fear and scared. So, it's when first reaction when people walk up to you, they're going to try to either defend themselves or, like that. So you can kind of walk up and just voice, speak to them. Hey, I'm here. Are you okay? You know what I mean? That, because they can comprehend that when they're listening. But as far as their action, and at the same time, you got to watch out because they're so hyped up. You don't know, they might try to swing at you, and not because but they're just trying to defend themselves. You know what I mean? So the brain is a funny thing, man. Once that brain is set and it's locked, you know what I mean? Their ears is the one that can, once they hear something, then it'll help compute their brain out. You know what I mean? So if you're nervous and you're hyped up and you're just, scared to death and your heart is speeding and your mind is speeding, what's going to calm that is, then you got to talk to them. You got to let them visualize, see you, that you're the good guy. You're the one that come to help them, but in the meantime too as well.
Great advice, Rikishi. Again, we talk about bullying. You never know how people are going to react. I was bullied as a little boy in elementary school. And as an 8-year-old, when you're bullied, it's not a fun thing. So I can relate to that 100%. This is one of the reasons I saw a need to bring people such as yourself on my show to talk about bullying, to discuss different topics so that we can shine the light on things so that people will, have, talk to your parents, go to your principal. Like Rikishi says, try to de-escalate the scene, you can always talk your way out of things. You don't always, like he says, if somebody hits you, you have the right to defend yourself. I always told my kids the same thing when they were going through school. I said, please never hit anybody, but if they hit you, you have the right to defend yourself. And I had twin boys that were bullied in school, so they understand it. Again, man, this is a very important topic. Again, one of the reasons, I go into elementary schools and schools across the country, mostly here in California, but I go into different schools. I mentor kids. We talk about bullying. When I ask kids this question, how many of you have been bullied? Now, I've got room sometimes of 300 to 400 kids. 399 kids will raise their hand. What does that tell you? We're not getting the word out. We're not doing our job here. It's good to talk about this, but we have to go one step beyond that and make sure that we actually do something about it. Because again, we're not doing something. There's too many kids today are bullied. We have cyberbullying. You have physical bullying, verbal bullying. I mean, we can go on and on. Rikishi, again, you can reiterate what I'm talking about, but go ahead and talk about some of the other cyberbullying, bullying on computers, the physical, the verbal abuse. There's a lot of different bullying ways to bully kids out there.
Hey, the tap on the line. Listen here, we're in a whole new era and so forth. What's going on now? Who got the biggest Snapchat? Who's got the biggest Insta? Who's
Right.
got the Twitter? How many followers? Got a lot of followers. Now, kids, I got kids, okay? And the thing is, I tell my kids, it's okay to be good. What is it? So it's okay to be good, but some people want to be cool, right?
Right.
And so what it is, because, we were all teenagers at one time. You got that so-called image you got to keep up in school. You know what I mean? It's all that drama. You get in where you fit and screw that, man. Because the fact of the matter is, when stuff goes down, your friends ain't going to be around. I'm going to repeat that again. When stuff goes down, your friends ain't going to be around. And so, there's so much stuff like, as long as you know within your heart that you're a good person, man, you don't need nobody to validate you, sons. You know you're a good person. A good person spreads love, that spreads positive vibes, right? The cool people, man, they want all that other type of, but it's a different vibe. They're looking for that vibe to be accepted. I got to be the loudest mouth. I got to be the one with the bling bling and the earrings. And I mean, it's all image, son. It's all image. That don't really mean nothing, man. They're going to remember the people that always lend a hand out, spread love. Somebody that was always there during my darkest hours in high school, even on internet, on Instagram, all that. There's so many people that you can't ever trust what's behind that screen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you watch an Instagram and all that, you can never trust because the picture that you see might not be the same fingers that's typing them texts to you, or typing the text that's out there. And, I might, for me, you kind of just look at it. There's that simple thing that's called delete or block.
There you go.
Because if you delete all the nonsense that's out there that you don't like, that's not giving you positive energy and positive motivation, why even have it on your Instagram or your Twitter? Why even have it on your Snapchat? I delete that. I keep my circle nice and tight. And everybody, I go down and I try to be respectful and answer all my fans' questions. But there's always a lot of them that come through, man, just, rated R stuff. They'll, they talk about just all kind of nonsense.
Right.
I flip over and hit delete and hit block. That's the end of that. You're never in my life again and in my head. I'll never see your garbage again.
That's it. No, that's a good thing to do. You have to delete that garbage. You're 100% right. So again, there's some good words of wisdom and advice from Rikishi. You guys, I hope you take this to heart. In closing, guys, I want to thank you for coming on today to Shining the Light. Thank you for taking your time out of San Antonio, Texas to Brandon and Cody. I'm glad that you got to come on and ask Rikishi a question about bullying. I hope you guys take something away from this. You go back to your school and remember this. I know right now because of the coronavirus, none of you are in school right now. But when you do go back to school, keep this with you, man. Never forget this. And remember the things that he said, because he brought up some very poignant topics when it comes to bullying. And again, walking away, being a positive role model. If somebody that you don't like or says things wrong on on the computer, you can delete them. You can actually delete them, and they're not in your life anymore. Like Rikishi says, once they're out of your life, they're out of your life. In the story, there's no coming back. So remember that. So, Brandon, go ahead. You got one more question you want to ask him?
Shoot away, Brandon.
All right. So I have to know, how did you come up with the stink face move?
Oh Lord. Well, the stink face move. I mean, I've probably told this story many times, but it actually happened. I was in a house show in Mobile, Alabama. Now, a house show meaning it's not taped, And I was wrestling a gentleman by the name of Big Boss Man.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be, so you remember him, right?
Yes, sir.
So when I was wrestling him, I clotheslined Boss Man in the corner, and then all of a sudden he took a fall down. And that's when you see the stink face position. That's what's called the stink face position. But he took a bump down and he landed on his butt in the corner. And then I was, I didn't know he fell down in the corner. And as I came back to the middle after giving him a clothesline, I can hear this voice, man. There's like 18,000 people there. But I can hear this voice, and it sounds like old lady's voice. Like, Rikishi, turn around and stick your ass in his face. I was like, 18,000 people. So I'm looking, and this is where when you see that look like this, it's like I was looking for that voice, trying to find out who was it. And as soon as I turned around, when I made that slow turn that way, there's this thing in the industry, it's called a pop. When a pop means when the fans react towards what you're doing. And as soon as I looked towards him in the corner, I took a first step. And that first step, you can hear the crowd. I took the second step, the crowd went higher. Third step, and that the closer I got to him, you can feel it like it was a volcano about ready to erupt. Like people are just, 18,000 people was so loud in there. And all Ray Traylor said to me, his real name was Ray Traylor, Boss Man. He said, turn around, baby. We got him. Go ahead and stick that mud in my face. Stick that mud in my face, baby. We got him. And this was on a Sunday, man. It was the loudest pop I've ever heard in my career. This was Sunday. Come Monday, the stink face was introduced to the world. And that was the birth of the stink face years ago.
Wow, great.
Unbelievable.
Great story,
hey, go figure. I didn't learn that in training, but I learned it from a fan.
So that's something that you just instantly right there that just happened.
Instantly right now, again, wow. Just listening and you're going off of instincts too, right? Because you're walking closer and closer in the professional wrestling industry. Whatever works, keep doing it, and right. You're there to engage with the fans and to be able to perform and entertain for them. And when you're walking, sometimes you run into things unexpectedly, right? Yes, and I've learned that. And so when that happened to me, I came back and I just said about, man, this is just my life. Things happen to me unexpectedly. And then it's how you put it together and roll with it. And I've rolled with the stink face for well over, my goodness, over 25 years. And listen, I didn't have to break no bones or nothing. Sometimes I used to, the people that I'm giving the stink face to, it's so funny. Because I look at them and you would think that they're worried about me sitting on them, but I'm worried about them. I said, man, you got to shave, man, because my butt doesn't like you got to put chapstick on, man. It's weird, man. Yeah, but it happens unexpectedly,
Great story, man. That's a great story. Gentlemen, right. Again, thanks, man. That's what keeps us real, Rikishi. You're telling us things like that, man. I appreciate that.
So, listen, if anything I would like you kids to take away from this is, number one here, is to always follow your dreams, man. Dreams can become reality. And I'm testimony to that, man. This is a young kid that grew up in the ghettos of the Bay Area, the streets of San Francisco, was taken back and forth to American Samoa to learn my culture and to embrace who I am, brought the powers of my faith, being surrounded around people that are real and that really love me, and took the time to learn and listen and do the work. And I always tell my kids this, sons, that nobody's going to come give you anything for free in this world. You got to get out there and you got to work. You got to get it and do the best you can without hurting nobody that's in your way. And it's always easier to spread love than to spread hate. And that's real. I've learned to live my life amongst, people that come to try to get what they want from me because what they see on TV. But they don't know the real me, right? And the real me, I'm a simple type of person. I never let the business change me. So I've always been real and stayed real with it, because the first people that know that you changed because you got money and because you're a celebrity now is the people that you're going to really hurt is your family. And those are the ones that don't deserve that. They were there with you from the jump, from the beginning of your career, and always, always remember people that help you on the way up. Never forget people like that. Okay? Learn to break bread, learn to be a good person, learn to be able to spread love, and just live your life to the purest that you can. Okay, so I want to continue to pray for you kids, and it's been an honor to be able to talk to Brandon and Cody. Alan, thank you so much for bringing me on here to utilize your platform to be able to reach out to all these kids that come to. I like to call them my own kids, because that's what my platform is, to be able to spread love and spread knowledge to you guys. If I did it, you can do it. Trust me when I tell you that. If I did it, you can do it. Okay? So I'll continue to pray for you guys, man. I love you guys, man. One day I'll be asking for your autograph.
Thank you, Rikishi. I appreciate you, my brother. Much love and respect to you.
Yep.
And I will see you soon, okay? Thanks, guys, for coming on. I really appreciate it. For Rikishi, for myself, this is Alan Santana saying, shining the light. We'll see you on our next show. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Hey everybody, this is Alan Santana for Shine the Light TV saying thanks for tuning in. You can check out my full reviews on Spotify, Apple, Google at Shining the Light TV. Check us out down below.